Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I have my dad here today and we're gonna do a little TikTok trend of talking about the delusional decisions we made that led to rapid weight gain or weight gain over time. And I was just telling him, he did not know this was a trend. I was just telling him that most people do this after they've lost all their weight. So he can relate, I can't yet. So this is gonna be mega humbling, but this will be more podcast style. So play this while you work out or cook dinner because we're just gonna be chatting. And if there are ones that we didn't cover that you relate to, let me know in the comments because I probably fell for those too. Essentially what we're gonna talk about, the lifestyle choices or the decisions that we used to make, the habits we used to have that contributed to our maximum weight gain. And so I already sent him my list. I actually added more on here and I don't think they updated for you. So I will be adding more. If you don't know my dad, he and my mom have been on Carnivore for a year and they have their own channel called the Williams Table. And did y'all start posting immediately?
We filmed the first day we started because I wanted to use that for motivation to actually stick to it.
Yeah.
And I even said that if you're watching this, spoiler alert, it must have worked because otherwise I'm gonna delete it. So I filmed the first day and then we filmed a 30-day update.
Yeah, so they're the ones that got me pulled in, but they have never they've stuck with it for literally over a year now. They've fully incorporated it as a lifestyle. He's shared in some videos that we've done together on their channel that this time around he is taking a much deeper coaching approach with me, and not so much just like, you go baby, whatever decision you make is a good one, because that's not true. And he is my accountability partner for sure. He can tell me the tough stuff and mom's just gonna love me through it all. He will tell me the tough stuff. So let's get into it, okay? Here are the things that caused my obesity, your past obesity. Starting off strong, I would eat a ton of high calorie foods but never felt full. And I don't know if you can relate to this, but I would eat like maybe let's just say 2 meals a day, but each meal would roughly be probably close to 2,000 calories on their own because I was not paying attention to the nutritional value of food at all. I could not care less. What about you?
Well, basically the same thing. I think for me, a lot of it was just snacking in between meals was the biggest thing. Basically, I grew up in a house where you clean your plate.
What didn't you eat?
Right. Well, I was
actually,
a picky.
He's really picky.
I was a picky eater, but I grew up in a house where you were taught clean your plate.
Yeah.
So we would clean our plate. So you would eat everything on there, whether you were full or not. But the biggest thing for me was the snacking. And I think that like growing up, I was very skinny.
We'll put a picture of him here.
And I was very active. You know, I grew up where you went out on your bike and you went all over the neighborhood. I lived out in like the country. And so my closest friend was a couple miles down the road. So the biggest change for me was once I started college and once I started a job, because I basically was sitting down all the time and I worked with computers. I would just sit there in front of a computer and I would work all night long, then snacking. So you would just snack, it's convenient.
None of these one things like create an unhealthy life. Like they really all are entangled. But it's interesting because mom has always struggled with low blood sugar. Is she hypoglycemic?
Yes.
And so
well,
she was. And so she would need to eat every couple of hours. We are not. We didn't need to do that, but we joined her. We didn't want her to eat alone. And so we were eating, I mean, mom literally used to eat probably like what, 8 to 10 times a day?
Probably.
Not meals, but like she would have something 8 to 10 times a day. And so our lifestyle really incorporated snacking. A normal day of eating for me would have been like waking up, maybe going to Starbucks and getting like a really sugary drink, maybe a cake pop, who knew, a lemon loaf or something. And then like to make myself feel better, maybe egg bites. And then like a couple hours later, maybe I'm in the Cane's line and I'm like have a large sweet tea and like a 3-piece box combo or whatever. And like just those 2 meals alone definitely exceeded my calories for the day. I mean, I just didn't even care.
Whenever Tanya started cooking for me, that's when I really took off on my weight gain, because she would eat every 2 hours. And when we first got married, I would always tell her, she would say, are you hungry? And I'm like, no, I'm not hungry. We just ate. And her reply was always, it's been 2 hours. And so she would go to make something and I would think, well, I don't want her to have to make something again later. So sure, I'll take a little bit. And when I say a little bit, I'm thinking, you know, I'm gonna get just a little sampler or whatever. I'd get a full plate. And so I just got used to eating a lot and very often.
We need to show them a picture of you before y'all got married and after y'all started your business. Because it was rapid.
Also at the time, I was working just a lot of hours, fast food and bad food, and you know, it just wasn't a good lifestyle. We would just go grab something to eat. We would get it just terrible lifestyle. We weren't trying to eat healthy, and we weren't getting any exercise. It's amazing how quickly you can go from being really thin to really big. As a matter of fact, there was a restaurant that we would go to all the time named Peppers. We got real busy at work, and we didn't go there for like maybe a month. And I can remember walking in the door, and one of the waitresses, which was a good friend of ours, whenever I walked in, she kind of looked at me and was like, wow. And I'm like, oh wow. She kind of caught herself, and it's like, yeah, I gained that much weight that quick.
Oh, dang.
Yeah. Did it stop me? No, it did not. I just kept on going from there.
We would make efforts off and on, like my whole life, to lose weight or get healthier. I don't want to say that like my whole life we never made an effort, because that's not true. We definitely made many efforts. We've tried everything out there. That's one of the reasons Carnivore has stuck for us, because it's actually created lasting difference. And not from, I mean, I'm being a hypocrite right now, but like it can create lasting difference. So I grew up watching my sisters eat absolute garbage, not even try to be healthy, but they had the ideal God-given metabolism. I would try everything, and it would work over a long period of time, but at the end of the day, like, my metabolism was nothing compared to theirs. And so it's hard whenever you're around people who eat way worse than you, and they're not affected, but you are. And so like that was a wake-up call too for me. My husband, he can eat like that too. I mean, like, obviously it's gonna catch up with you at some point, but him being a twig his whole life, like, it catches up with you at some point. The second thing is keeping junk food in the grocery rotation. And this affected me more as an adult after I got married and like lived on my own in college, because my parents were actually really good for the most part at keeping junk out of the house to the best they could.
When you got 3 kids, you know, everybody got their list of what they want.
Like, we never had soda in our house. We didn't like have ice cream just to have ice cream. We didn't have candy just to have candy. I think that's what made me have this false sense of like health, is that, oh yeah, I don't just like eat zebra cakes and eat cosmic brownies, you know, like those were special occasion treats. But yeah, keeping junk in your house, my mother-in-law always says, I'm not gonna buy it because then I'll eat it. And it's just so true. I mean, like, if you don't even bring it into your house and you make it inconvenient for you to access it, it's gonna make such a difference. But I did not care. I would literally add anything I was craving to the grocery list. And another one that's helped me a lot is doing Walmart pickup or Walmart delivery instead of shopping, you know, in store. It's not gonna matter on Carnivore because you can't, you know, have it anyway, but it would really help me whenever I was doing animal based. Good segue though into the third thing, which is soda. Soda is my second cross to bear behind a slow metabolism.
Like back in the day, if, let's say you got a Coke, you might have went into the convenience store and you got a little bottle of Coke or out of the Coke machine, and you would drink that Coke and that was it. Now Cokes come in these gigantic vats of Coke, and you know, these big gulps and super big gulps and mega big gulps. What I found is anytime we went on a trip, especially, anytime I was in the car with my dad, stopped to get gas, we were like going in for the haul, and we would come out with these big old Cokes. And so we, you know, or root beers or whatever. And so yeah, it's always been a part of my life is to drink soda. And probably, even though definitely could have done a lot better raising our kids with healthier foods, the interesting thing is that our youngest daughter, Eden, has never drank a soda ever.
I love that about her.
Yeah.
I know so few people who have done that.
And we tried to avoid, like, we didn't give y'all soda. We held it out, and then y'all would end up drinking it somewhere, and then it's like, I want soda. I've had soda, and it's great.
Soda is definitely something we never had that in the house. And so that's one that really got me good whenever I was on my own. I drank so much soda. The fourth thing, which is overeating, which is an obvious one, but I mean like portion control. There was none. It was the first Thanksgiving that I was with my husband, but we weren't married yet. And he made his plate, and then like, he's a man, you know? So I'm like, then I look at our plates next to each other, and I have like literally double the food that he has in portion sizes. What I considered a serving and what the average person considered a serving was very different. And I would hear people be like, if you just portion control, like, your weight's gonna fall off. And I did that. I actually did Weight Watchers in high school. Portion control really can make a huge difference in what you're eating, but like for me, what I'm eating does matter right now. I know people do calorie deficits and they're like, I could have 6 McFlurries, and like, if I'm under my calorie count, it's fine. I can't do that right now. God bless those who can, but like, it just really taught me portion control. I literally didn't have any.
It's just so hard to stay consistent whenever there's no limits on what you're able to eat. If it's just portion control, that's fine if you don't have food addiction or if you don't have an unhealthy relationship with food. If you have food addiction, an alcoholic can't have just a little bit to drink. They're going to end up, falling off the wagon at some point. And the same thing with food addiction.
Okay, number 5, and I think we can both fall into this, okay, is wearing loose clothing or holding on to clothes that fit you at your biggest and you feel like in a little bit of denial that you have gained weight.
Wearing your stretchy pants.
Wearing your stretchy pants. I have on
Nacho Libre
stretchy pants right now. I started a new job this year. When I started in August, it was coming off the heels of stopping Carnivore. I was rapidly gaining weight and I had, of course, fallen into the trap, threw away all my old clothes. So I was like, never gonna be this size again. And so I had maybe 10 things that fit me in my closet and I was just crushed. But I also was like not gonna buy new stuff because I'm like, I refuse to accept that I am this weight. Number 6 is being sedentary. And this is one of those things where, like, if I go back and look at my health app from before I started paying attention to my health, I would have easily not even hit 1,000 steps a day. This is one of those things that gets more aggressive as you get heavier because you feel worse. It's really like a closed cycle. I had an internship in college where I was easily walking 10,000 steps a day plus. I was getting home, checking my speedometer or walk meter or whatever, and I would have walked 7 or 8 miles that day because
especially in school and on campus.
I was on campus. I was working in Washington, D.C., so like everybody walks there. And it was such a difference in the culture because where we live, we don't live in a walkable city at all. That's not part of our lifestyle here. Like, people will drive to the park and like drive to the lake and they'll walk around there. But living in a city where literally you didn't drive, you didn't take the metro, you walked. And it was amazing. I didn't gain weight when I was there. I ate whatever I wanted, but I was literally walking 7 or 8 miles a day. It shocked me when I got home, COVID hit. And obviously COVID's different, but still my walking steps did not exceed 1,000 for many months.
It's easy as you get older to just get into a routine of you go to work, you come home, you eat, you sit on the couch, you watch TV, you go to bed. If you're going to be active, you're going to have to do that on purpose. The one reason why I've always struggled with working out is I don't enjoy working out. I've got a home gym right over there and I'm going in it most every day, but I'm not spending a lot of time there. If I go do an activity, like I love to play golf, I actually don't mind running so much. I'll go run and I enjoy that, but only when it's enjoyable, like the weather's right. Yesterday, the weather was perfect. It was very cool, crisp, just a beautiful day to be out running. Pickleball, love to play pickleball. Just find some active things that you can do. And I think that's the best thing.
You can do regularly because I grew up on a swim team and I absolutely love to swim. I could swim for a long time and it's a good workout. Obviously, it's a full body workout. But when am I hopping in the pool regularly during the work week with washed hair? Make it easy for yourself to do it. And I'm actually about to be doing a series coming up with my sister on trying different workouts that bring back mobility because your body does hurt. Whenever you are obese, I understand why you're not getting off the couch. I understand why you want to sit down all the time. Like, I was there, which is the beauty of Carnivore, because even though I have so much weight, I still have 100+ pounds to lose, but I feel so good that my body has like placeboed affect itself out of pain. Like, I can do any sport and it's just getting comfortable with movement again.
Well, Carnivore will reduce inflammation and that's where most of your pains are. It's inflammation in the body and it will get rid of that before the weight loss, sometimes before any weight loss comes.
Truly within days you will feel different because your body is getting rid of that sugar, getting rid of those carbs, and your joints are just loose. I don't know, it's amazing.
You've got to figure out how your body works, how your metabolism works, how food affects your body.
Okay, the next one is more personal to me. I don't know that Dad ever did this, but I would hide food. I don't feel like I had an eating disorder in my childhood, but I definitely did not have a healthy relationship with food. And I was very aware that I was bigger than other kids. I was always tall for my age, and so I just felt like I took up a lot of space. And whenever I was younger, I would do these diets with my dad, and we're talking like 9 and 10 years old, because they could tell that I wasn't in a healthy weight bracket, you know, my doctor was concerned, all this kind of stuff. I didn't know this as a kid, especially because I was extremely active. I mean, I was truly doing all this stuff, but I was still eating way too junky of food for it to matter. I would hide snacks in my room when they went to bed or whenever they were like not looking, and I'd hide it under my bed. And I have a funny story, a super humbling story actually, because this continued into high school. I was lying to them for a long time about like how bad my health had gotten or my weight had gotten, all this stuff. And so I remember we had a Category 5 hurricane hit Lake Charles a couple of years ago. This hurricane hit when I was 23. I was out of town and a very amazing church family came over to help my parents gut our house. And I didn't know this was gonna happen. And I called my sister, I'm like, have they gone in my room? Because under my bed was food. It was like wrapped food hidden under my bed. I was still doing that in my early 20s because I was so ashamed of my eating habits, like as if they couldn't tell that like there was an effect. And so obviously this is like a very vulnerable thing that I'm sharing here, but I'm just talking about how you have to face your bad decisions and you have to face your unhealthy relationship with food and bring someone into that and get over it. Like that was 5 years ago for me now. I can say that freely, but I would never thought I would have said that on camera. The next habit I had was that I would treat myself for just making it through the day. And that was definitely my mentality. It was like, oh, something was hard, treat. Maybe this is just a cultural thing, but in Louisiana, there is food at everything. Everything.
Bunch of food.
Revolves around
Bad
food. Bad, delicious food. The best food in the world. Yeah. In college, I was dirt poor. But like, if we're hanging out, we're going to a restaurant. You know, like we'll find a restaurant. It's really cheap. And everything revolved around food. Every gathering, you were expected to bring something or something would be there. And so I almost felt like I literally couldn't hang out with my friends if I was on a diet because we're going to dinner. What am I going to get? Nothing.
Back when I was really doing a lot of running, I was training to run a half marathon. All my friends were going to eat somewhere, so I went and met them. I got me water, and I actually had somebody drop me off, and I ran from the restaurant home, which is about 5 miles.
That's insane.
And so
you're crazy.
I knew I couldn't eat and get home at the same
oh my God.
plan.
Okay, the last one that I want to talk about is avoiding the scale / avoiding your accountability.
Boy, have we all done this one.
I want to start by saying, if you have watched any part of this video and feel like we have an unhealthy relationship with accountability or my dad asking me about my weight, I have given him permission to do this. And this all goes back to, I know he's doing this out of love. He's not doing it in a way that's judgmental or he doesn't love me less, anything like that. You have to establish a person in your life that you're given full access to. I send him my weight regularly because it helps me.
Well, I know when she doesn't send me her weight, I know why. And what's funny is I would try to not say anything about it all during the week. And if I haven't heard from her by Saturday, I would text her on Saturday. So me and Tanya would be sitting down drinking our coffee and I'm like, has Alex mentioned her weight? She's like, no. So I'm gonna text her. It's like, don't text her because, and she would there was always a reason that this wasn't a good time to text her. Well, when Apple did an update on their messaging, and I don't even know if you know this, you could pre-schedule a message. Yeah. So I just started scheduling them ahead of time. So then there was no emotional attached to me. I would just have it send out Saturday morning, 8 o'clock, you know, what was your weight today? Yeah. And then I would forget about it. And then I'd get a message back and it'd be like, well, I didn't weigh today because I'm starting back tomorrow or I'm starting back tomorrow. Yeah. He's obviously my dad. That is actually quite a bit to ask of someone because that makes him the bad guy, you know? And so if you're gonna be asking someone to be your accountability partner, like think of how this will also affect them and y'all's relationship because you are putting them in a really tough spot. They are gonna be on the other side of your emotions that are really just self-directed but end up being put on someone else. And we've had very hard conversations. I mean, it's not easy. It's not easy to send someone your weight whenever you're not doing anything to improve it. It's been super easy to send him my weight the last 2 months because I'm working on it and he knows I am. And so that's not hard for me anymore. If you're struggling with weight, the time is now to do something with it. Don't wait, don't put it off. Don't wait till Monday. Don't wait till New Year's. Don't wait till after the party you're going to tonight. The best time to do it is now, is just to do it for yourself. It can feel like, oh, it's just a cookie here. Oh, it's just
a steak here. You know, like it really does make a difference. It can feel, after one day of carnivore, you might not feel like you did anything, but you did, because you didn't have XYZ. We really dived into to a bunch of things today. And thank you guys for watching. This was fun to make. If there were ones that, you know, if there were habits or lifestyles that you struggled with that contributed to where you are now, please drop them in the comments. Don't leave us hanging here. Like, we really aired them all out. Well, thank you guys for watching, and I hope you guys have a great weekend. Leave a comment for us if you have also struggled with any of this stuff, and let me know how your carnivore journey is going, and we are wishing you all the best.
Goodbye.
Bye.